What's up, everybody? I'm Ryan Tuerck, and you are here for another edition of Team Nitto at home, talking with Tuerck. We're live at Race Service, and we have two special guests today. Two of them. One being the Supra behind me. All right, we all know about that a little bit. I'm going to tell you more in a little bit. And then we got my longtime friend, Ryan Davis.
Who am I?
From Yair Productions and now Race Service.
I'm here. We're ready. Let's get this going.
So what we want to start off with is some questions. So guys, hit us with your questions, populate the page. We'll get to those in a little bit. But let me talk to my homie. What's up? What's up, Ryan?
Hello, world.
Glad to have you.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I was just telling you guys, I get a little nervous right before these always go down, but I'm here. I'm ready. Maybe not as strong as you, but I got some. There's something happening in here. So.
I'm weak now. I just pumped out a freaking 2-hour workout in 30 minutes.
Amazing. Well, let me just adjust this. We got some technical stuff going on here. But yeah, I guess just first off, I think it's important to recognize that the world is going through a lot of changes right now, and frankly, much needed changes. So just that said, we want to be clear that Race Service and all of us wholeheartedly believe in equality and stand for this, the positive changes that are to come. So just wanted to get that out of the way.
100%.
Feels good. Let's talk about cars. Let's talk about Supras.
You want to talk about Supras?
I'm ready. Are you ready?
We talking about Supras?
Let's talk about Supras today.
All right, what do we got? What are we talking about?
Well, here, before we even go to any questions or any stuff, you drove this car today.
Yeah, we actually did. So we did an early morning Angela's Crest run to do a shoot. And it's basically my first impressions of the new Supra.
But we can't go too far.
We can talk about some stuff.
We can talk about a little, but Tuerck
has
some stuff lined up for his YouTube channel and his next video that will kind of say a lot of that, but we can get into it a little.
Yeah.
So I noticed there's bug splatter over the front. I noticed a little bit of tire chunk. We got some stuff going on.
Yeah, we got some tire debris on the rear bumper now. Maybe some rock chips in the window. It's quite a bit of rocks falling on the road, unfortunately. But
if any of you guys know Tuerck, he knows how to use things, shall we say. He knows how to put things to the test, so I'm sure this car will get it.
When you're in the moment, you know what I mean? When you're in that moment, what are you going to do, back out?
Tuerck lives in the moment, just so we're all clear with all this.
When the moment's done, and then you can chill out. But.
Exactly. We have some questions, a list of just ones that we put together, but the first one, first impressions.
Yeah, first impressions. I think the car is phenomenal. Now, I mean, you're talking to a guy that has mostly taken every brand new car he's ever gotten and torn it straight down and built into a drift car.
Absolutely.
Or a race car of some sort.
Every time.
So I haven't driven too many stock trim vehicles that are performance based, like a sports car, such as the new Supra. So for me, everything feels phenomenal. I think the package is incredible. Super excited. Almost makes me not even want to tear the car down and build it into a race car. I'd rather just daily drive that thing with a little extra horsepower on and a few modifications and just wheel it around town, because I think it's like the perfect daily driver you could ever want.
This is, by the way, a segue for Tuerck to get another Supra. Toyota, if you're listening, he needs another Supra. He needs the daily and...
I need a race car Supra, I need the daily Supra, I need a daily Corolla.
He needs several
I need
Supras.
a race car. I already got the race car Corolla. I'm good there.
Let's just keep him coming his way, because he'll do good
I'm right
things
with
with
this. Yeah.
So one thing for me, we've both been into cars from 2Js all the way up till now. So 2J and B58, I believe, is the current motor in there. Both inline sixes, both 3 liters, right? This one has a really cool transmission, obviously. You got the paddles, you got the stuff. Like, what do you feel 2J, not versus B58, but what do you notice, the likes, the dislikes, I don't know. Yeah,
well, I mean, so in stock form, the only limitations making power on the B58 right now are obvious, are the turbo, the direct injection, and then eventually the head port design. But you can make over 500 horsepower with this thing doing basically nothing to it. You put a high flow downpipe on the car, and then you can get any of the we're going to be working with Ken from Wedge Performance, and MHD Tuners, which is like an app that you can download on your phone. And then you get the, I forget what it's called, but the plug that plugs into the OBD2, and it connects to the app, and then you can just throw at whatever basic tune I already have written on there.
It's insane.
and
that's the future of car
you can
tuning
turn
for
up,
sure.
You can turn it up from 91 octane to like if you have 95 octane or if you have race gas in there. So it'll advance the timing. And the other really cool thing about these cars is they have a self-learning ECU. So the more it'll add, because the timing is adjusted by I believe the knock sensors on it.
Right.
So if you do, it'll kind of learn what it can do. It'll smooth itself out. It'll add more power where it can, based on those knock sensors and whatnot. And somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that's how this thing works.
Tuerck's never wrong. Just so we're clear, he is never wrong.
Now, compared to a 2J, the 2J is currently more capable just because it has had, 30 years of... Has it been 30 years? No. Close to it, maybe.
I mean, I'm 38. And I was born in '82, so when did
the
2JZ
came out? I don't even know when it came out. I should know this stuff.
You don't have to.
Somebody hit us with a fact. Can somebody hit us with the facts?
Hit us in the comments with some facts real quick. Some knowledge.
Damn.
Give us some knowledge real quick.
Yeah. I mean, early '90s for sure, but
yeah.
But almost 20 years.
At least decades.
20 years worth of performance modifications, and it's only been about a year on the B58.
Right, and so direct port and different things like that are the limiting factors currently with technology and tuning and all that, right?
Yeah.
So
the direct injection.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. We'll get past that. It sounds like.
So we have any questions coming up, Los?
Let's check. I think I can check from here.
Can you check?
Let's see
Yeah.
here.
Whoa. The direct injection.
I haven't done this before. Sorry, that volume's on. Let's see. Do we have anything?
Someone said you're giving away those G2s behind you.
Hey!
Someone noticed that? That's so good.
We are not giving these ones away. These ones are going to get burned out. Sorry.
The 555 G2 though, if you want to talk about Nittos for a second, I have never seen a tire that lasts as long as that tire.
Yeah. They're absolutely incredible.
It's insane.
When I went to Winter Jam back in December of last year, it did rain one day, but I literally got like 20 laps on a set of tires. I didn't even take them off. I just changed them because I felt weird.
Totally. And I remember too at AEDs, like seeing the stacks that like Vaughn and Powers had brought, and at the end of the time, there's still a stack there because they're still on the same tire, just shredding with smoke and grip and all sorts of stuff going on. So seems like the 555 G2 is kind of like the kind of like it's daily driving, but okay for competitive use, like tire.
It's the best demo. It's the best demo tire I have ever used for sure, which is super sick. And then the Pro Car tires, the NT 555 G2s, the 315s. Those are the super grippy. We're still going to burn those down in 2 laps, but they last a lot longer than most of the competitors. Where when some people are having tire issues, last year we never had tire issues as far as tire wear. So it's one of the really cool things that Nitto has progressed into the new generation of their tire.
And you can see it too, like obviously, I've been around FDs forever with this guy and everybody else, the RS crew and whatnot, but when you're there, you can really see really quickly when there's a tire advantage or not. You can see when you're on your second run, and if you're not leading and all this stuff, you are having to work for it, and it seems like that has helped you guys a lot, right? In duration, reliability, all this.
Absolutely. Yeah, last year was, besides obviously the crash, it was one of the better years that I've had in recent.
Yeah.
So, I was pumped, and I think a lot of it had to do with the tire because we didn't even have to tune the car that much. The only thing we had to do was keep adding power because the tires were getting so grippy.
Well, a lot of people don't realize too. There's like a triangle of tire technology that essentially happens, right? So like if certain things in the compound raise, other things have to fall. So Nitto has kind of been known for a tire that has like a really strong compound, and also the banding they use inside, I believe, is like Kevlar, and it's a different material, so it retains heat differently. So my experience with watching Nittos, like being there and seeing it, is that they essentially, like as heat increases, they're able to like retain and maintain traction and forward grip and side bite. And so it seems that you can really tell the Nitto cars on track. They're fast exiting, and in corner they're fast.
I would 100% have to agree, just based on characteristics of the feeling behind the wheel of the car, because the tires don't. They literally don't. I came out of the car one day during a test session, and the tire was completely gone, just flat, no tread left on it. I was like, oh, we gotta change these things? right. Like, still had plenty of grip left in them, still felt amazing on track, and they were completely gone.
Absolutely. So that said, I guess one of the questions I would ask would be, once you get some wheels and you start doing some upgrades to this, what will be the tire that you'll put on this car first?
Yeah, so since we're gonna be running 19s, we're gonna get some rotiforms on the car.
Sick.
Pretty soon actually, and then we're gonna be running the NT555 G2s in the rear for when we take it to the track, do a little drifting with it. But for street and daily use, we're gonna run the NT01s. Now those aren't highly recommended because they're more of a race tire, so they're 100 tread wear, and they do need to be broken in, and they need to you need to get a lot of heat in the tire for it to have grip on the road. So daily driving, it is not the most ideal situation.
Right.
But I think the tread pattern looks sick. I think it looks awesome, and yeah, I'll get some heat in the tire before I take it out. If I get into a rain situation, which doesn't happen much here in California,
yeah,
I'll just take it extra easy.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tuerck, he's pretty good at getting some heat in the tires, no matter what he's driving or where he's driving.
Typically, sure. I'm pretty good at that.
Let's go ahead and see if we got any questions. Do we have any questions?
Jason Acadia says, are you ever going to come back to Australia?
Jason, yes. I would like to say sooner than later, but who knows what the situation's going to be at this point. I got to talk to my boy Luke Fink, and maybe he'll give me the old invite to get down there. But he's the one who brought me out last time, and had an amazing time. All you guys down there are awesome. Everybody, the car culture down there is great. I know you guys. Everybody was just talking about how gnarly it is for you guys as far as road legal cars and hooning and that kind of thing. But it seems like you guys get on just fine. So we have that situation here in the States too, where some states are a lot more strict than others. So we kind of understand. But yeah, that was kind of the big conversation when I was there, was kind of the explanation of how you guys get around and still are able to have fun and all that. So it sounds like you guys do just fine, and I'd love to come back. The weather's perfect and hot and nice, and you guys got some killer events.
There's all sorts of killer things. Shout out to Australia and New Zealand, by the way. What awesome people, what awesome vibes, so into car culture. Like, there was an FD Asia, I went there long ago with, Mad Mike and Osbo and a bunch of the guys at the Formula Drift Squad, and like, it was crazy to see the love that they had. And from them, they hadn't had a professional event like that come through there. So they were just like, Daigo Saito, like tripping out. It was so fun. That's awesome. It was so fun.
Yeah, some of the... I think the most comfortable I've ever been outside of the U.S., because you grew up somewhere and you're comfortable with your surroundings and just how things are and whatnot, was traveling in New Zealand and Australia. It felt very much similar to the U.S., but obviously it's not the same. But it was really comfortable, and I could definitely see myself spending a lot of time in those two countries.
Absolutely. You see Mike set up right now over there.
Yeah, he's killing it.
You have it figured out, my friend. He's got a good setup for sure. But I guess you do too here. So back to this guy. Let me ask you some more questions about this real quick. Let's see here. How about this? What is your favorite part or feature?
Favorite feature, I think it would be the 8-speed transmission. And because I like it so much because it's such a well-balanced package of drivetrain and motor power performance. Where the torque comes in so quick, it comes in at like 1,800, 2,000 RPM, which is super low, and you just keep grabbing gears. Just keep paddling. You just keep paddling. The thing just keeps pulling and keeps moving. So I think it's a really cool package, and it's really fun to drive in the street.
Absolutely. Do you and so like I have a F80 M3, so they're kind of like cousins, I guess you could say. Like the feel, the trannies, all sorts of it. What do you feel about BMW's merger with Toyota on this car? Like, do you feel the BMW-ness mixed with the Toyota in it? Like,
well, you do. You definitely do, because the interior the interior is very similar to a BMW. It has the knob to turn and select communications and everything on the dash. The LCD screen is the same. So there's just so much similarity to it, but you're stepping into a Toyota.
Exactly. And FRS sized, right? Like, or is it slightly smaller?
It's smaller.
That's crazy to me. Yeah. I mean, we've been in FRSs for a minute, and that's a small car. And
I think it's a really cool cockpit too. It has the old. Now, bear in mind, I haven't owned a Mark III or a Mark IV or even a Mark II, or sorry, a Mark I, original Supras. So I can't attest too much to it, but the Mark IV had that kind of cockpit feel where everything's just right here, kind of like a 300ZX did as well. And I get that feeling a little bit on this as well, which I think is cool. So there's all these little parts to it that I think are a nice callback to the previous generations.
Heck yes. And we have to talk about the sound. It sounds so good.
I think it sounds good. It's an inline six.
It's crazy. And the popping stuff, you got the stuff going on. There's things happening.
Just put an exhaust on and open it up a little bit. It's an inline six. They don't sound bad. They all sound awesome. Whether it's a BMW. I don't even know who else. Mainly BMW has a lot of inline sixes along with Toyota. So yeah.
So when you went on your drive today, tell us about that. Where'd you guys go? What'd you guys do?
Yeah,
Did you do some filming? Did you do stuff? What'd you do? Let's talk about that.
So we did Angeles Crest. Many of the SoCal guys know, or many people know about Angeles Crest. It's one of the canyon roads, the more famous ones out here in Southern California. It's about a 45-minute drive from here where we are right now at race service.
Cool.
So it's super close. You can literally see it. It's just like the mountains over here on the other side of the range. And it is just a super twisty, windy, like toge road. A lot of it is uphill. A lot of it can be downhill, depending on which roads you take. But super, super fun. There's a lot of rock cliffs up to the side of it, so you're going to get a lot of debris on the road. So they're constantly maintaining this road and keeping it up, because you'll get mudslides, you'll get rock slides that cover the road. And then there's also a lot of bicyclists that train up and down these roads too. So you got to be careful. You got to have your mind on right. Weekends are tough because it's super busy. Everybody is going outside the city to go cruise and enjoy their cars. So it was nice for us to just hit it midweek and have it pretty open. We got going pretty good. I think I tested the limits and the capabilities of what the wheel and tire combo can do on the Supra.
Sounds like it. Yep.
I'm looking for the next upgrade to be some of those NTO1s I was just talking about, and some rotiform wheels and some BC Racing suspension to really stiffen up it and give it a little bit better of a stance.
Absolutely. And who did you roll with today? You rolled with.
So I rode with James, and he has an AMG GTR Mercedes, and then Max, who was driving a C4. Is that a Fiat or an Alpha?
Don't know.
Is it the same? Does it even matter?
Who knows?
It's got like that carbon fiber monocoque. I call it the grandpa race car because it's like one of those really tiny cars. It's like really cool, but at the same time, it's kind of disappointing.
It's Alfa Romeo.
Alfa Romeo. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What? Romeo.
Yeah.
Romeo.
Alfa Romeo.
This is awesome.
And he was driving that, and then my good friend Alex Bernstein, who we're all good friends with Bernstein.
Yep.
He actually shot. So if you go to Toyota.com and you look at all the super photos, he actually shot, produced, and did all of the production for all of those photo sets, which is pretty sick.
Yeah, he basically got the cars, he took them on location, right? Like he found and set up his own locations, shot them, and then worked with like retouchers to like go through all the images and get all that going, right?
Yeah.
Beautiful images too.
Yeah. So those are all his photos. And my friend Alex, he drives a BMW. He's got a 135 1M replica,
right? Because it's wide body.
Yeah, because he bought the real deal metal 1M rear fenders.
Right.
Had them put on the car professionally by a body shop, and then he's got an upgraded Garrett GTX turbo on there. I think it makes about 530 horsepower at the wheels. Inline six, obviously. I think is it the N or the M54?
I think N54, right? Is it N54?
I'm not quite a BMW guy.
People tell us N54. I think it's N54.
I think it's N54.
I don't know.
Anyway, the thing freaking rips.
Definitely.
And he's got a roll cage in it. He time attacks the car, so he's really good behind the wheel. And he was leading the way because he knows Angeles Crest really well.
Oh, cool.
So I was just trying to keep up with him, and he's freaking ripping.
Yep.
And I'm like just driving a stock Supra, keeping up with him. I mean, he's still faster, but and I don't know how much he was letting it hang out, but I was letting it hang out. I was like, I'm getting a little nervous now, right? So it was just one of those deals. Like, okay, now I know what this car needs, and let's give it something.
Absolutely. I know Bernstein too has been super impressed with these cars, as he was like one of the first people to actually get his hands on.
Yeah, when he was shooting the thing, he was telling me how, because I hadn't driven one yet, and he's kind of half bragging to me and telling me how good the Supra is. He's like, dude, should I just sell my BMW and just get the Supra? I'm like, probably.
Yeah. That said, can we do walk-arounds? Let's do walk-arounds. Let's go look at this thing.
do a little walk
Can we
around.
take this camera out of here? I'm going to take this camera out real quick. All right, let's see here.
Any questions about the Supra, Los?
Do we have any questions yet?
One sec.
Okay, we'll get to questions in a minute. So, Tuerck, this is...
Yeah. You took it on ahead for us. It's all right. Appreciate it, guys.
Angelus crest, right up in there.
Yep. But you guys know, I mean, the thing already sits pretty well. It could just use a little bit of wheel spacer, a little bit bigger of a tire on it. So obviously a wheel and tire combo is like the biggest first thing to do. Like
Absolutely.
the differential already works really well. The active suspension actually works really well. Even though we want to straight up replace that with BC Racing stuff, of course. So
Totally.
the interior, I got the
Kind of lucked out. This guy got the red.
yeah,
The
I'm
red,
into it.
dude. Check this out in here. Ooh.
Smells like tire smoke a little bit.
Tuerck. It completely smells like tire smoke in here. So you got the all red.
Nice aroma.
Paddle shifter, digital gauges. This thing is sick.
I really like this car. I think if anybody else has this car, I think you guys probably enjoy it too.
Yeah.
I feel like there was such a, you know, I feel like this happens with every new car, that people have expectations and they build it up. Just like you go to a movie, you're building something up and you're like, this is going to be freaking incredible. And then you get there and it's a massive letdown. I don't think this car was a letdown at all. For me, I think when it came out, it was a shock at what the actual look of it was, I think. But the second that people in the tuner market started taking over what this car can and was going to be, I was in love with it right from the bat. I think the package is phenomenal. The price point is phenomenal. And I know I'm like, sounds like a salesman or whatever, but I honestly am so freaking juiced on this car. I can't get over it. Especially just coming off of like Angela's crest, like shredding this thing for the first time. Like, come on, how can I not be super pumped on it?
I was gonna say, there's no salesman's pitch to that at all. It's just the real feeling you get. You know?
Totally.
And this thing definitely is a ripper. It's crazy to see the quality in here, and I don't know if you guys have had a look around these cars, but they do have that BMW feel, but it retains the Toyota.
What is wrong with the BMW feel?
No.
That's what I don't get.
Oh,
what's everybody's gripe with the BMW thing?
I love it. I don't know.
I don't know.
I like it. I like when you close the door. It sounds solid. I like the quality of the materials and stuff inside. I don't know. I like it. I think it works great in here.
I think it's really good.
Absolutely. Let's see what else around.
Oh,
here?
the brakes are really good too.
Brakes are sick.
So the brake, yeah, we were, like I said, we were freaking ripping, and I had to jump on these things pretty hard multiple times. And there's plenty of pad The calipers are big. Like it's really prepped and ready for a decent track day. You know, you're gonna find the limitations if you take it to the track, but it is a really good package overall.
I personally too, one of my favorites is just like this angle. This angle of this car is so good. It's just that rear 3/4. It's so good. It looks so cool. I love the, the styling and the weight of everything. What's your take? You have a favorite angle?
Man, I don't know if I have a favorite angle yet.
It's all pretty good. Pretty good. Look
I like the side hit.
We got some other stuff of yours over here, by the way. What you got going on over here? Are we allowed to see that?
Oh yeah. We'll do a quick little pass through.
Let's do a quick pass. Let's go this
All
way.
right.
We're gonna just we'll stay in the Toyota world. Don't worry. Let's keep going. Can you look at what's behind you?
Oh! Hey, we got the motor in the car.
You got stuff going on.
Yep, motor's in. You guys will see that soon on the vlog. So we still got plenty of work to do, but the motor's in there with the transmission mount. Stoked. Getting there.
Dude,
it's getting close.
This guy and Dom have been putting in some work.
It's been
And a lot
nonstop.
of you guys remember this. You guys have seen this. That is, don't ever get rid of that bumper.
Never.
Yes, and
Staying
good,
forever, for sure.
Good statements, of course, by Nico, always holding down the positive message and meanings. And I'm gonna put this phone back in here real quick. Awesome. All right, cool.
All right.
Let's
What
go
do
to
we
some
got?
questions.
Let's hit some questions. Anybody asking stuff?
Let's hit
What is
some
everybody?
keys.
What do you guys want to know? What you guys want to know?
Let me look over these real quick. Let's see here.
Hope everybody's having a good Thursday.
I hope that too.
Someone asks, do you think the 350Z would be a good first practice car?
I do. I think the 8.6s are almost on the same page, where that car is getting now old enough and more affordable. And it's a really good base because it has enough power to go drifting. Really, and it has a 6-speed transmission. It's got a good drivetrain. I think what's the only drawback on those cars? Not a ton.
Or the GT86?
No,
or the 350Z.
The 350Z. There's not a ton of drawback. I think the motor's pretty stout. I think those VQs, if you start adding a lot of power to them, or if you add turbos to them, you're a ticking time bomb. But if you keep it naturally aspirated and just put a little bit of power adders on it, then you're golden.
Yeah, and in their defense, I guess, or in its defense, you could say that any non-turbo car to start that you then apply turbo to can get a little questionable.
Absolutely.
But I think that and the GT86 are both great. Like you're saying, the GT86 cost, the older FRSs now, those are coming down. And that's personally what I had. I learned to drift on with this guy's help and tutelage and like up at park and stuff like that. And like, so rad having a 6-speed and like new technology, but in a drift car. Like it was like Toyota made the 2013
like
Hachi at that point.
When we started drifting, a 350Z was pretty much brand new.
Of course, that was like the G's.
I was like, what, 30 grand for a car?
Exactly.
No, I don't think so.
Exactly.
But yeah, I think the Z is great. I think the 8.6 is great, even though it's probably a little on the pricier side. And the only thing with the 8.6 is you do need some power adders to kind of get to that 200 plus mark. So, you know, it is what it is. But there's great aftermarket support for both of those chassis, and they kill it.
Yeah, seriously. Here's a question. It's related, unrelated, I don't know. Do you ever go karting to get practice in, or just go for fun?
Karting, I have been shifter karting only once, and it was super fun. Like the Blackout Boys actually just went, and I wanted to go, but we were just busy. I need to get some stuff done on an East Coast car. We're doing some stuff with the Supra, so just one of those days where I couldn't make it happen. But they all got the shred. Super jealous. And then regular karting, like going to K1 or something. I love that stuff.
Absolutely.
It's just usually in California you're so busy, for me, I'm usually so busy. I know the rest of the guys at Race Service are as well, but you know, just trying to play catch up. And when you're building a car from scratch, there's just never ending. You never even have enough time.
Right.
There's never enough time in a day to get the amount of stuff that you want to get done. So karting is usually on a back burner, where like it'll happen every once in a great while. But every time I do get to go, I have a blast.
Yeah, and every time you do, I notice, at least myself personally, but you learn a little something.
You do.
There's something there, and what is it, the lack of suspension? Or there's something there that you kind of figure out each time a little bit more.
You're just, because you're so much closer to the ground, and you can kind of feel the grip level of those things a lot more than like having something bigger around you, like a car.
Right.
So yeah, I think everything is just that much more exaggerated on setup.
Seriously.
So
and every single time you drive them, they break. Just
and then
like
your body weight, you can kind of change the balance of the cart super easy by leaning forward, back, side to side.
Totally.
So when you can kind of like cheat it a little, not cheat, but take advantage of that situation.
Exactly.
And when you learn that, it adds a lot more to it.
Absolutely.
And in a car, if you're doing that, you're obviously, you know, going for a ride because you're crashing.
Yeah. Well, and I guess in a race car too, like what are some of the things that you guys do to tighten up a car? You change bushings, bearings, the mounts,
you're changing all the factory stuff to like Heim joints and stuff that's pretty much rock solid, so that the suspension is taking most of the load, and you can tune the shocks rather than having all this energy go through the car and then get to the shock. You want all of that to be as solid as possible, so that all of the energy goes through the shock, and it's the most consistent.
Right.
To be able to tune it that way.
Well, it seems like Nitto's, you know, historically, they have like, it seems like all Nitto tires, as a matter of fact, especially to their off-road range, but they have like really strong sidewalls and then like really impressive contact patches. So in my mind, at least, like I picture less rock and roll and movement and more structure.
The NT05s do. The new NT 555 G2s that we run in a pro car they're more like a drag tire. So the sidewalls are super tall, and we run them at such a low tire pressure that they flex and move around, which adds a ton of grip.
Totally.
For drifting.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
It's absolutely crazy. It's just a different concept and a different way of setting a vehicle up, but that's kind of how that's the theory that we have been doing for the last, I think, 3 seasons. And then when Nitto stepped up with that tire, we're like, oh, we already know this. You know what I mean? So it was like already kind of went hand in hand. It was just the next level or 2 levels up.
Totally. Let's see here. Any more questions? Carlos, you know any more on deck?
Yeah.
What do we got?
Anybody want to talk about working out?
Henry's asking, when will you be upgrading that Mishimoto's shift knob?
Maybe with a new design. I don't know. I haven't. I gotta talk to the team over at Mishimoto and ask. That's a good question. I have a new design. I have a new logo. If you check my YouTube channel, it's on there. We haven't really released it anywhere else just yet, but perfect timing, man. Thank you for the question, because now I'll hit them with an email when we get out of here and see what's going on with that.
Awesome. Someone else in here too asked about your FD livery update, but you did announce that, right?
Yes.
You have that, and where is that information, just so they could find it? On your YouTube, right?
Yeah. I have a video of the first look of the Corolla on my YouTube channel.
Or your Instagram's got some stuff on there as well.
My Instagram has some photos. Just scroll down, and obviously the Papadakis team released a statement as well. So it's on Steph Papadakis' channel as well. So
and that's
it's
tight.
out there. It's out there.
That's tight, by the way. So I haven't talked with you about that in this scenario yet, but Papadakis, Osbo, both legit dudes, and now you're on the team. Like, that's radical. I want to swear right now because I get excited about it, but that's super legit. I love Osbo, great dude, great driver. Papadakis, clearly a legend. What are you hyped out of your mind? Or what?
I mean, dude, everything was lining up so well, obviously, and then obviously the COVID situation. So now it's just kind of, we're just kind of waiting.
And you're
waiting.
ready.
I'm still waiting. Still waiting.
Come
still
on.
stoked. Still can't wait.
Seriously. And then let's see, any other new sponsors, any other new stuff? You got Rockstar now?
Yeah.
You're a
So
big boy.
we announced Rockstar earlier this year, and obviously that was kind of the precursor to the announcement with the Papadakis Racing Team. So it's been awesome to work with Rockstar. Nitto is actually a new sponsor for the Papadakis Racing Team. Obviously, coming on board with Nitto, it was a natural fit for them to change the Nitto tire as well. So Freddie's on Nitto for the first year, which is cool.
Sick.
And yeah, dude, just stoked. Mechanics Wear came on board this season.
Sick.
Obviously, Mechanics Wear gloves. I don't have them on me, but
They're around. They're everywhere.
we
Here,
have
for
them.
sure.
You guys know Mechanics Wear. They actually have this really dope glove. Me and Dominic have been using since our welding gloves disappeared for whatever reason, of course. Unexplainable. They have these pit crew gloves that I think came from NASCAR, where it has a leather palm, just like a welding glove does, and then the top of it is all Nomex. So it's super. It doesn't restrict your hand when you're closing it, so it's very it has a little bit of better feel to it. So when you close your hand, you're moving around with the torch and the
like TIG welding
and a
some
filler
different
welder,
things.
filler wire. There we go. It feels a lot better. So anyway, Dom's been jamming on those. Those have been really cool to use, and then obviously just working with the gloves. I got a lot less cuts on my hands from just.
Yep.
I rock on cars, the typical.
I rock them too, motorcycles, cars, anything. I feel like I have them in all drawers and glove boxes, like they're everywhere. They're definitely the best ones. And also too, just in case no one knows, Dom's over there. Hey Dom. He probably doesn't want to come over here.
No.
Dom is, speaking of legends, he's a legend in the making for sure. He has like the highest quality of fabrication, his work ethic. Like, this dude shreds. Tuerck has picked a good dude on his team. You want to talk about Dom real quick? What does he do? What's he about?
Yeah, so I met Dom back in 2008. Hold on, I'm getting a call here. Let me decline that real quick. Sorry. All right, we're back on. So yeah, I met Dom back in 2008 when I was driving for the Gardella Racing Team. Dom's from New Jersey. Gardella is from Jersey. And when he started his drift program, he had Dom make some parts for the Pontiac Solstice that I was competing in at the time. And Dom, being a BMX rider, obviously I was too back at the time. So obviously we became friends, and then he helped me out, did a little bit of work to my 1J car actually. And
The old black S13?
Yep.
Sick.
Yep. Which everybody, if you are now asking where that is, it is at my friend's house in New Hampshire. It is getting rebuilt. I made a video about it. I have another video to post about it soon, and it will come out eventually.
For the record, I tried to buy that car from Tuerck long ago, and he said no, because he was going to keep it for this exact reason. So I did try.
No, I'm keeping it because that's a forever car.
Exactly.
Just like the Ferrari car, like the 1J car, the Ferrari car, those are like cars I want to have forever. So
absolutely.
So Dom made some parts for that, and then in 2013 when we built the FRS with PSI, I wanted to have my own street FRS on the East Coast because West Coast, East Coast thing. So Dom, I picked up a salvage title FRS, and you guys can check out the history of the street car on my vlog as well, which kind of tells you this whole story.
That's right.
So Dom, I brought the car down, and Dom was down to help me out and build a car. So he basically did all the fabrication work on that thing, such as right over here, the East Coast car that we're building now. We're kind of doing the same thing, and this is like what, the 4th or 5th iteration of a serious, cool 2JZ powered 8.6 build that we're doing, and I just keep getting better and better and better.
They absolutely do.
You know what I mean?
It's mind-boggling to even just walk around and see the sheet metal brakes and see like the attention to detail. Like again, Dom shreds, and Dom personally has the cleanest M3 I've ever seen, the cleanest 7 Series I've ever seen.
Dom's got some crazy projects. None of them are finished, but I keep dragging him out here to help me with my cars.
Seriously.
So he's got a lot of really cool stuff in the works that hasn't really been posted or talked about much that you will see at some point when he gets some personal time to finish them. But
Dom is an incredibly humble
there's some
dude.
sick stuff coming from his shop for sure.
Yeah, and his shop too also is the most amazing shop that he created, but he's the most humble dude ever and so talented, and hopefully we get to see him a little bit more out here. We've been all trying to talk him into moving here, but he's resistant.
Yes.
Dom, you should move here. Bring it. So yeah, let's see any more questions.
What we got, Los?
With the new NT01, what adjustments will you change in terms of camber, tow, or traction to maximize traction and handling?
So for road racing, I'm not super familiar with road racing setups. Drifting wise, we usually run 0 camber in the rear. Also depending on what the camber tow gain is, and bump steer, what the bump steer situation is. So we kind of change that per track and per every couple laps to kind of dial it in. It usually takes about 6 laps to dial in a rear suspension. Front end, we run as much caster as we can with the WiseFab front end kit, and we do a little bit of tow out, just a little bit, not much, maybe an 1/8, maybe a 1/4.
Not giving the secrets away.
So yeah, not a ton. For road racing, when I do get into that side of things, I'm going to be learning a lot, and I'll be asking a ton of questions. So honestly, I don't have, if you're asking for the road racing side, I don't have too much experience right now.
He'll get there.
Yeah.
It's all about growth.
Another good one.
Wait, hold on, Los, real quick. Someone asked the magical question that Tuerck wants to, get out of here, fly. Someone asked the magical question that Tuerck wants to answer more than anything.
What?
What is your workout routine?
Oh, here we go.
Do you want to answer real quick?
Yeah, so all right.
So
obviously CrossFit is my preferred type of working out. So I usually do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday off, then Friday, Saturday, Sunday off, and then so 3 days on, 1 day off, 2 days on, 1 day off. And then that'll change because I just got a shot in my shoulder a few months ago called PRP. Because of some impingement I had in a tendon, which is still there. We kind of lowered the volume, and I haven't done a ton of overhead work. So right now, and then just with how busy we are, I'm just like barely getting my workout routines in during the week because we're just still working till like 10 or just late.
Every day.
Waking up early. I don't sleep that well, so I'm usually just working nonstop. So anyway, yeah, so that's kind of my routine, and then it depends on the day. Mondays are usually squat days, then Tuesdays usually overhead work, along with legs again, and then Wednesdays are usually usually more leg stuff, then a day off, and then Thursdays more legs, and then overhead, and then, I don't know, Saturday. I forget what Saturday is usually something.
It makes me happy.
They always kill me. Every workout I do, my trainer absolutely destroys me. So I do enjoy it. I like it when it's hot out. I like it when it's humid out. For whatever reason, I just like absolutely getting destroyed and sweating like crazy and feeling like I'm going to die, gasping for air.
And you do a remote workout training session.
Yeah,
right?
so
So you want to explain that?
Yeah, so when I first started CrossFit, I did it for a couple years and then I'd fall off. I'd work out for like 6 months, be on a sweet program, and then drifting season would happen and then I'd fall off. And then I did it again, and then I'd fall off. And then I did it again, and then I'd fall off. So then 3 years ago, I found out that I had arthritis in my back, osteoarthritis in one of my vertebrae. So that freaked me out because I was only 31 years old when I found out, and I was like, what the heck? Like, how the heck can that even be? And blah, blah, blah. So I started reading the internet, and WebMD scared the crap out of me and all that. So anyway, talked to the trainer that I've always worked with, and she said, okay, well, let's get you on a program. And then from there, I've just been on a consistent program for the last 3.5 years. And that's kind of was the thing to make me motivated, is making sure that my health is in check and my body and my bone structure are on point. Because the older you get, it's harder and harder to build muscle. Your testosterone lowers and all of that stuff. So for me, it's just been a massive point and a massive interest in my life the last 3.5 years. Yeah,
totally. And it's I mean, arguably changed your life. I mean, personally, in your competition, a lot of people don't know too. Tuerck runs his entire you manage your entire program. All of your builds, your program, all of your stuff. Like Tuerck is working all day, every day. So like this has helped all facets of your life.
Yeah.
Really?
Besides adding 2 to 4 extra hours in the day of working out, I don't know. I look at it more as like my time off, or I get to step away from like the stress of working on cars and waiting on parts and worrying about this and worrying about that. Where when you work out, all you're worrying about is yourself and your technique and how hard you can push yourself. So it's a lot easier because you have a lot more control, because it's all self-control.
Right. Well,
and when you're working on cars, and there's so much out of your hands and out of your control.
Yeah, and so that allows you for focus. And Tuerck used to be to be frank, a skinny shit talker, and now he's.
Wait, was I a shit talker? I don't even know if I was a shit talker.
I mean, technically, East Coast shit talker. All you guys from the East Coast are. Dom, he's over there talking shit right now. I don't even know about one.
Most definitely thinking about some talking
it's
shit.
there. Andy, he's somewhere around here talking shit. I mean, it's all East Coast, but yeah, that's awesome. Any more questions? There are a few more car ones. Should we answer this?
If you would ever compete in D1 GP, not sure what that is.
Would I ever?
Wait, hold on, real quick. I love that Los said D1 GP or whatever that is. That's so good.
Come on,
would you
Los.
like to explain what that is?
Yeah, okay, Los. Well, D1 GP is like the first professional drifting series ever in the world.
Mm-hmm. Out of Japan.
Out of Japan.
And one of the most.
Come on, Los, this guy. We gotta get him. We gotta give him a history lesson on drifting over here.
But also,
Jeez.
Los, just so you know, and the rest, one of the coolest events ever was D1 GP at Irwindale.
Well, I mean, the coolest event ever is a debatable thing, but yes,
I think that
was one of the most coolest things.
Cool event.
Definitely very early on in the scene of drifting, D1 GP, when it came to the U.S. and actually the Formula Drift guys, Ryan Sage and Jim Lau, were two pivotal guys that helped make that happen.
Exactly.
So that was really cool.
And that was a huge step for American drifting, clearly.
It was like the first step.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
That's why
seeing
I
it on a
cool.
real stage like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I agree with you in that respect for sure.
Yeah, because it was a monumental time. It was when they kind of brought it here. I went there with my little brother and mom and saw that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, didn't know you, but knew
yeah.
you, but didn't
well,
know
I wasn't there.
Yeah, but like
point.
I knew of some drifters. I think I knew of Vaughn, like.
Okay.
Because didn't Vaughn drive in it?
I think so. I think
Vaughn
Chris
drove
and Tony drove out for it. Vaughn might have. I can't remember if
competed
Vaughn did, but I know Chris and Tony did.
Yeah.
Chris and Tony had some wild ass trip to get out there. It's like there's so many cool stories from back in the day.
Yes.
When you just mix Tony, I can't even get into it.
If you just add Tony into any event, it just makes something happen that's fun and crazy too.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's awesome. Couple more. Let's just answer a couple more.
Oh wait,
questions.
I didn't even answer the question though.
Oh.
Yes. I would do a D1 GP, yes. And I've done one. I did one back in 2006. It was at Irwindale. I think it was in late October or early November. And I competed in my old S13. It was the green one. It was the same car that he used for the first season I ever competed in a full-time Formula D season. And it was just an SR with a GT 2871. 2871? Yes. And it made about 330 horsepower.
Sick.
Yeah. And I had to pre-qualify, or I had to do the licensing event first, which I think was on Thursday, and then did the event. I didn't qualify, but I got my license, which I was stoked on. So anyway, that was my one and only D1 GP experience. And I did get to meet a lot of the D1 drivers, which was sick because they're all my heroes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And all such cool, humble dudes who have been experienced from that time. And Yeah, I personally though would love to see you in a current competition car compete in Japan in their scene. It's obviously, a lot of you guys know the tracks are different. The speed up and slow down sections are very purposeful, and like I would just be really curious to see you shred with the Japanese dudes right now.
I would be down.
Gosh, can we make that happen? Sponsors, make it happen. Let's do it. Okay, here real quick though before we go, do we have more time? I don't know. We got more time.
Why not?
Let's talk about more stuff. Super stuff. Since we are on this note, does the Super have a tendency to oversteer or understeer?
Man, that's a good question. As hard as I drove it today, I feel like the first thing that started going away was the front end, and it didn't even totally lose it. The car has so much feel from the steering wheel and the seat that you really know what's going on and what the limit is of the car.
Right.
So there was only a couple points where I turned in just a little too much, and I felt the front tires start to kind of slide a little bit, but not much. So yeah, I'd say it has a little bit more it would have more understeer than oversteer.
Right. Well, and we could say too that as a guess, that's probably set up for stock daily driving, as to where when you put a different tire, wheel combo on there, and suspension, you'll shift that slightly, so it'll be more oversteer.
It is. The car is super well balanced, extremely. And when I say it, like you're talking about driving down like a mountain road, so most of the weight is going to be over the front end of the car, and we're driving fast as all hell, or you're going up and all the weight's on the back end, so the front end's a little bit lighter, and you're driving fast as all heck. So it's tough to say in those situations, but like I said, I only felt it a couple times where the front end felt like it was going to go away before the rear end did anything. So, but it was very easy to control and very predictable. You could feel it and know kind of what the limit was. So I didn't go push it past that at all.
Well, predictability is like, I guess, hand in hand with confidence, right?
Yeah.
So like the more you know and can sense and know ahead of time what's going to happen, the more you can feel it and be confident. So that's a good note, I guess.
Yeah.
Is another person asked here, Jason Acadia, if that's how you say your name, what has been your most fun and reliable drift car to date?
Man, good question. Thinking.
I mean, because 1J car was rad, but then again,
my 1J car gave me so much problems. Like
exactly, fun,
it was
but
great.
Maybe not reliable.
It was great, but it was built in a time where things were still very early on. I didn't know as much as I know now about how to build a car properly so that you don't run into dumb issues.
Right.
So I'd say, man, last year's pro car. I'd say the street car that me and Don built together was probably the one that gave me the least amount of trouble, even though it went through multiple iterations and multiple different builds of swapping out setups, turbo setup, rear end setup, engine setup.
But those were just like, those were just growing along time,
we're
right?
adding power, adding something better, always. And that V160 6-speed trans, the GetTrag one that I had, that thing was always phenomenal. The 2J, always phenomenal. The Garrett turbo setup, always phenomenal. And then it was always an upgrade situation. So I put a better motor in it. I put a bigger, better turbo on it from Garrett.
Right.
I upgraded from AEM to Motec, so John Reed tuning in at that point. Brian Hartzog from Unicorn Garage. I had him make a mil-spec engine harness for it. So and then the cooling system was always getting upgraded until we found what was like a perfect combination with Mishimoto, making it one of their radiators a triple pass and using their 12-inch race fans. And so there was like all these different iterations of constantly changing and evolving, but that car was always treated me the best, and I always drive the absolute living crap out of that car. And always, I'd prep it properly because that was my baby. And I guess, that's the one. So I don't keep on rambling on here. That's the car.
It's not a ramble, and I can justify if we're saying it's from the gray car into last year's pro car. So
it was the white
base
car into the gray car into the art car into the pro car.
Exactly. And when it was when it was the original white one back at like testing at Park, and then you like move forward into it was gray, and then like ride-alongs with this guy at Road Atlanta, like upshifting sixth, just baking through corners. I don't even know what was
like
going
150.
On. That was the funnest thing ever. So that was fun and reliable.
That was cool.
Because it worked every day until you would just grenade some part of, because he grenades stuff all day, every day. But yeah, that That was really
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
That's so good.
I agree.
So yeah, the gray one is most fun and reliable. Let's see, anything else? Any other questions you see?
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, Driving Line says 2J came out in 91.
Really? Yeah, early 90s. Perfect.
Yep.
Yeah, so almost 20 years.
Boom.
Dang, almost 20 years of the 2J. 20 coming up.
I
I'm sure you get this one a lot, but what's your favorite FD track to drive?
Favorite FD track is Road Atlanta for sure.
Ooh, for sure. And
Yeah.
from a media standpoint, Road Atlanta, 100% the
Yeah?
best track. Oh yeah. Well, I mean, you're in the middle of a beautiful forest. You know, the trees, the color of the dirt, the
Yeah.
grass, the extension, and like, you know, that's why you've seen me with these huge lenses. Is
Right.
Like, it was the first reason was Road Atlanta, whether that be Petit Le Mans or FD, to really punch in because you're always so far away. But Road Atlanta
Right.
for sure.
Yeah, I like the South a lot in general, so it always kind of gives me a good vibe. It reminds me of when I used to race motocross. We'd go down there to the South for the winter to train and ride and stuff. So I always enjoyed my time down there and nothing but good memories. So I really like always going back there to that spot. And then the track itself is my favorite because of the elevation changes and the difficulty and technical side of that track. It has a blind keyhole turn coming up that hill, so it makes it extremely difficult, and then it's one of the longer tracks as well, and the pavement is really nice. So it's really predictable unless it rains.
Right.
Then it's an absolute nightmare, but
Yeah.
somehow we always figure it out.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then driving under the lights, and then the fans that show up, like the fan base there is always super incredible and loud, and the way that they're kind of in like kind of its own natural. Is it amphitheater or amphitheater?
Amphitheater.
Amphitheater.
Yeah. It just projects and holds that sound.
Yeah,
I know.
it's just, it's
and
awesome.
it's like the donut of smoke that rises.
Yep, all of those things.
EPA is probably not too happy about that, but
Hey.
it's definitely an amazing thing. Another track too, I would have to say that I don't know if it's best for drivers, but definitely one of the most fun for media was the Wall.
Yeah, well, whatever, guys. I know all the media guys say they like Wall, New Jersey because it's the best to shoot. Well, I don't care.
So did you not like to drive it?
No, I hated it for years, and last year when we won, I drove that place for so long. I probably put down so many laps there, and I've only came out of there with a podium and then a win last year. So, it was nice to cap it off because now we're supposed to go to Englishtown, which is the birthplace of drifting for me, for the East Coast, and all of that. So, that's Wall's been good to Formula Drift and the fans and everybody that's gone because it is a nice place to view. But I feel like we're just caged animals driving these crazy, wild 1,000 horsepower race cars on like a tiny
like a track that's clearly too small for what's going on there. But that to me is why it seemed impressive. It's like this, like you said, it's these crazy animals inside this cage that's like bursting at the seams.
It was a difficult track. The bank was tough. Coming off the bank was hard. Setting your car up to be fast on the bank and be fast on a flat bottom was always such a tough combination to nail. And last year we nailed it.
Well,
because I literally did Friday or Thursday open practice, because now we get limited practice laps.
Right.
I think I did 6 laps, and I came off the track, and I was like, yeah, we're good. And then I went and did a workout. And there was like 3 hours of practice left.
Oh,
I was like, yeah, we're all set. And then Biddy's like, okay.
Right.
And then my crew chief, Brian, he's like, cool, sounds good. And so they re-prepped the car that night. We came out Friday. Still felt phenomenal. I was like, okay, we're on one right now. And then I forget what we qualified. We qualified pretty well. I don't know if it was a top 5, I believe, and I made a little hiccup somewhere or something, but it could have been a little bit better. And then coming in a tandem, I was like, holy crap, our bracket is stacked, super stacked.
I remember.
But I wasn't even worried because I knew we were freaking on one that weekend. I just knew the car was like, it's the perfect setup. I was feeling good, and then we went right through the list of champions and drivers. It was awesome.
Absolutely.
It's probably one of the best events, or the best driving I've probably ever done in my career.
Yeah.
That weekend.
Yeah.
Personally.
Well,
I don't know why.
Here's your chance to thank Nitto Tire as
Yeah.
it sits behind you
That's
over
what
your
I'm
left
saying,
shoulder.
dude. Yeah. Seriously.
Yeah, Nitto, and your good team too. You got Biddies, Brian Hartsock,
Dominic.
Unicorn Garage, but shifting to Hartsock Racing.
Yeah.
Dominic, what a crew. You got a pretty good crew.
Pretty good guys.
Got some pretty cool people around.
Pretty good
here, I have
guys.
to say. Anything else? What more questions?
What do we got? What time we got?
I don't know. I think we're far over time, but we could do this all day. So let's see.
What time is
anything
it?
else?
Just so I know.
2:55.
2:55.
Is this
Yeah,
the
all right.
longest running show?
Let's answer one more question, then we'll get back to it because I definitely want to do some work to the race cars.
Heck yeah. And this
Before
guy's
the
still
end of the
this
day.
guy's still riding the high from going on an Angeles test drive. So
Yeah, totally.
let's see. One more question. You got anything out there?
Yeah, let me see.
Let's see here.
All right, guys, make it a good one. Don't let me
Someone
ramble on
asked
too
me,
long, too.
As you're in Osbo's your teammate, would you ever go with him to Norway and try drifting on frozen lakes?
Yeah, I mean, it's funny you say that because when we did our first track day last week, he was telling me I need to come out. I was like, yeah, dude, I'd love to, obviously, because it looks incredible. All the videos that he posts and everything, I'm like, Jesus, dude, I need to get out there and do that. Obviously, there's a big expense involved, but if I could work something out with Freddie to borrow somebody's car and just pay for a plane ticket and whatever parts are needed, then yeah, 100%, man. Because what else are you doing in the wintertime in a snowstorm anyway?
Yeah,
I'd rather be driving on ice.
Seriously. And Osbo, too, he's such like a generous dude. He's
Yeah.
like such a humble, generous dude. You know you would show up and there would be a super there waiting that you can jump on an ice bed, which he's also crazy because driving around on an ice bed, a lake in a car.
It's just a different culture and it's a different region of the world. It's like it's just normal for them, I feel like.
Seriously.
So, I mean, clearly it's normal for them.
Seriously. Little quick story. A few years ago, I shot like a Norwegian TV show with Osbo, and we like went around to all these spots, and we went to Hawaii, and like we shot driving these roads, and him fully, speaking his native language, and me not knowing what the hell he was saying, and I got him I got him a ticket because I was standing out of the top of a car trying to adjust the camera right as a cop came by, and it was just like, sorry, that was definitely my fault. And so, Osmo, sorry about that. I think I paid for it. I don't remember, but yeah.
I'm sure he's all good with that by now.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah, Osmo is a great dude. I'm excited to see you guys shred this year. And do we have a official start of the FD season?
Yes. Well, July. We're sticking to the July schedule currently.
Cool.
Yeah.
And so, what's the first round? Where is it at?
Road Atlanta.
Oh, first round, Road Atlanta. July what? Do we know?
It's online. I forget. I think
Okay.
July 4th weekend.
Oh, let's go.
think.
Let's shred
think.
already.
Yeah.
I'm so
Yeah,
ready.
it is July 4th weekend.
Oh, I'm so ready.
So it's coming. It's
Yep.
getting close.
Yep.
We'll see if it sticks. I know there could be some more changes depending on obviously the states and what they decide
Absolutely.
and all that. So
Yeah, safety first.
yeah, we all got our fingers crossed.
Well, I'm ready to see you shred, buddy.
I'm ready to do it.
I'm ready to see your team stand
Ready to do
behind
some
you
more
and all
test
these
days, too.
great sponsors, great tools, great toys. I'm ready. Let's do it. Jeez.
All right. On that note, we're gonna send it.
That's DM's
I'm gonna
line,
send
bro.
it right over here into the East Coast car. Start turning some wrenches with Dominic again. But thank you guys for tuning in this weekend. I hope we got to a lot of your questions that you guys were needing some answers to. And thank you, Ryan, for coming on
Anytime, bud.
this weekend.
Anytime. All you guys out there, make sure to stay safe, stay positive, love in your hearts, and let's keep shredding.
And on that note, we'll see you guys next week, all right? Every Thursday here, Race Service, Driving Line Facebook page, 2 p.m. Live. Later, boys.